gap in time period. We had thought of to complete the project within 5 years, but after 6 years the project has not been completed. So these type of situations may be there. So there may be deviations in time, there may be deviations in resources, or there may be deviation in flow of benefits. We had targeted to provide benefit to certain number of people, but we failed to do so. So sometimes we see these things are attributed to management of the project. So a good management always helps us to achieve the targets within stipulated period. But due to bad management practices, we may not be able to achieve our targets. So, however good may be the planning is, but management has its importance in the process of implementation of those plans. So actually the plans are implemented in the forms of programs and projects, because in plan we have certain broad objectives, and these broad objectives and contemplated actions are broken down into different programs, and these programs are again broken down into different projects which are to be undertaken. And a project, in order to be successful, as an input requirement, it also needs management. And finances are necessary, but only the finances or people will not be able to provide us the result unless we have good managerial skills are there. So in this block, what we are going to discuss is what is the meaning or concept of management. What do we mean by management? Then what are the different processes of management? And management is also a process. It is not an isolated activity. Management is a process. Then what is the scope of use of management techniques in the process of rural development? And we have management techniques. How can we use these for the benefit of for rural development purposes? These are the things that we are going to discuss. So first, we will discuss the meaning of management. What do we mean by management? Naturally, we see, generally we see, there are some people who are good workers. They are very specialized workers. They work very efficiently. But when it comes to managing the things, they do not fare very well. They are not good managers. So it is one thing to do the work, and it is another thing to get the works done by others. Sometimes by way of example, I can see, suppose you can take the case of your Indian cricket team. There are very good batsmen, very good bowlers are there. Individually, their performance is very good. But when they assume the leadership, when they assume the captainship, not only their individual performance goes bad but becomes worse, they also fail to lead the team properly. So management is an art. Everybody cannot be a good manager. So we see working by oneself, that is one thing, and getting the work done by directing the activities of other people, by directing the efforts of other people in an organization is another thing. So the second category of things, that is management. So management is not doing by oneself. It is getting the work done by others. So organization is the setting. Organization is the structure which we are going to use to implement the project. And I'm a project by program I'm implement kariyaku. Definitely we will use the organization. And in an organization, among different things, we have a group of people working in an organization. From top to bottom, we have in different capacities people are there. So we have to coordinate the activities of these people. We have to direct their efforts towards achievement of the goal of the organization. So That is the concept of management. So management is getting the work done. So one of the definitions, among the many definitions of management, one very good definition is given in this block in paragraph 4, page 2, where management is the art of getting things done through and with people. So getting the work done through people and with people, that is important. And in formally organized groups, it is the art of creating an environment in which people can perform as individuals and yet cooperate towards the attainment of group goals. And in organization, we have a number of people working together. Each individual will work in his individual way, but the aim of activity of each and every person in that organization should be the attainment of the common goal which the organization has for itself. Organization no jo goal ta achi, se goal achieve kariya pai ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର जो individual capacity ରେ everyone is working, ତାଙ୍କର जो activities ଟାକୁ we have to direct those activities towards the achievement of the goal. So the direction is important. How do we motivate the people? How do we direct their efforts? So that is important. So that is the task of a good manager. It is the art of removing the blocks to such performance by way of optimizing efficiency in reaching the goals. So this is the best definition of management I have ever seen. So it not only directs, it also tries to remove the obstacles. And for achievement of something, what is important is what you do to achieve those goals, and also it is equally important what you do to remove the obstacles, which are the obstacles on the path of achievement of your target. कारण किछि बहुत सोसाइटी रे हम देखुचे, we have different obstacles. Suppose in Indian context we see there is vicious circle of poverty. Poverty is there, and that poverty works in a circular manner to produce poverty again. So poverty is both the cause and effect. So there is vicious circle of poverty. So this is a major obstacle. So how to remove that obstacle? So management ro function hoji, it will direct the effort, it will motivate the people working in an organization for achievement of that goal. It will also try to identify the obstacles which are there, the hindrances which are there, and it also tries to remove those hindrances. Next, what comes is whether management is an art or science. Actually, by art we mean the art of doing things, the skill of doing things, that is art. And when we talk of science, it is an organized body of knowledge. So organized body of knowledge, management, to which category it will belong? Whether it refers to an organized body of knowledge or it is the art of doing something. Can anyone is anyone interested to supplement anything at this point? Is anybody interested to respond? Science or art? Whether management is science or art? Do you like to respond or do you like to listen only?
So please repeat the question, sir.
Is management a science or management is an art?
Sir, management is the art. And for some cases, management is also a science.
So it is both art and science.
Sir, combination sir, science award ଦୁଇଟାର
ଦୁଇଟାର combination good.
ସାଇନ୍ସ ରୁ ସାର୍ ଆମେ ନଲେଜ ଟା ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜଡ ବଡି
ହଁ
ଅଫ
ଗୋଟେ
ନଲେଜ ଆମେ
ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜଡ
ଜାଣିପାରିବା।
ବଡି ଅଫ ନଲେଜ ନହେଲେ ଆମେ କେମିତି ଆମେ କାମଟା
ଆଉ
କେମିତି
ଆର୍ଟ ରୁ
କରିବା? ହାଉ
ସାର୍
ଡୁ
ଆର୍ଟ ରୁ ଆମେ ସ୍କିଲ ଟା
skill?
ମ୍ୟାନେଜିଂ ସ୍କିଲ୍ସ ଟା ଆମେ ଜାଣିପାରିବା।
So for development of skill we knowledge. So without knowledge at the background, how can we develop the skill? Like, it's good. So management is both art and science. So I'm very much happy that you responded. So in the mean, ମଝିରେ ମଝିରେ ଏମିତି ଆମେ respond କରିବା, so that our interesting will be meaningful. Then having said that, now we are going to distinguish between administration and management. Two things come. Sometimes actually some people, there are three different schools of thought in this regard. Some people say that management and administration, they are similar things. Some say administration is at the top level and management is something below than that. And some say the third group of people are there who have the opinion that management is a very broad concept and administration comes under management. So whenever we talk of administration, actually the picture of the British imperial practices come to our mind. That concept of babudam, where an officer or top level administrator is there, everybody is just waiting for his or her order. So that is British practice, but colonial practice, a colonial legacy, so to say. So administration is a kind of colonial legacy. But nowadays, we don't prefer to use the word administration. Rather, we are very much familiar with the concept of management nowadays. So is there any difference between administration or management? Actually, administration is concerned with controlling the organization. It refers to the top level activities, organizational top level activities, where decisions are made, where directions are given to the people working at the lower hierarchy. And there is in an organization, there are a hierarchical structure. At the top, some people are there. In the middle, some people are there. And at the lowest level, there are people who just carry out the orders, who are supposed to perform the specific tasks. So decision is taken at the higher level. Then through the middle portion, the managers, they are exactly not managers, but there are some group of people, they are in between the workers, the employees, and the administration, the policy making body. And you can say they are the supervisors. In some organizations, there are people to supervise the activities of the people working at the lower level. So management, actually the administration is concerned with the top level activities, where our policy making is made. They decide what to do, and their intention is translated but communicated to the people working at the lower level in terms of directions, instructions. So actually these things come to our mind when we talk of administration. But when we talk of management, it sounds more friendly. So when there is a type of what to say, when we talk of administration, actually lower level, there is a kind of pure psychosis. So they can do anything. So that is traditional type of administration. But nowadays we don't talk of that. So administration at the top level and management at the lower level, these things are not used so much nowadays. Now it is the common opinion that administration and management, they both perform the same type of action. And administration na kamo kon organization ta ko control kariba, तार जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स अच्छी तार फुलफिलमेंट पे आमे पॉलिसी डिसीजन नबा, से पॉलिसी टा को केमती डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज माध्यम रे आमे लोकन को यूज करी के करैबा. बट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज नथिंग बट ए ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल with certain objectives, and we have to fulfill certain objectives within a time frame, so that to do that we have an organization, and in an organization we have a group of people, so we have to work with the people. So when this type of mentality is there, we are in the realm of management. We have to work with the people, we have to work with them for realization of the objectives set for the organization, set forth for the organization. So that is the concept of management. तेणु ये जो 3 schools of thought कथा मु कहली सेतरे गोटे भी पैराग्राफ देइचे, एटा गोटे पेज नंबर 7 ने अछि. You may expect a question define but distinguish between administration and management. यदि सेमिति आसुची हम एटा को यूज करिया ए पैराग्राफ टा को फॉर आंसर पर्पसेस. Administration sir lekhuchi ensures effective direction, and management kochi ensures effective execution. Then direction and execution bitare jaha difference, the difference between direction and execution is the difference between administration and management. Execute mane eta korebar achi mate, and direction mane I have to give the order. Then administration is concerned with direction and management is concerned with execution. Then administration devises the organization and management uses the organization. And organization is the system that will be utilized for realization of the goals. Then administration defines the goals and management attempts to achieve the goals. And function of administration is defining the goals, deciding the goals for the organization, and function of the management is to attempt to achieve these goals. Then administration coordinates finance, production and distribution, whereas management coordinates activities of others to fulfill an objective. But objective ta ko fulfill kariya pai it coordinates the activities of others. Karan ei gotiya jinsa am prathamaru jeta kohuthile to do by oneself and to get it done by others. And management is the art of getting things done by others. It is not doing by oneself. Then administration provides guidance, leadership and control, whereas management gets things done by working with people, use other resources in an organized manner. So this is the difference. Then after having said that, now we will discuss about the different processes of management. Actually, altogether we have different 7 processes, 7 activities which are related to management. We call these 7 processes of management. They are planning, organizing, staffing, then directing, coordinating, reporting and budgeting. So these are the 7 processes of management. जोटा कि आमे गोटे शॉर्ट फॉर्म तार एब्रिविएटेड फॉर्म आमे कहूचे, जोटा कि coined by your Kulik and Lindell, that is post corp, POSDCORB. ये जोटा कहूचे, these are the first letters of जो functions जोटा कहली में these 7 functions, तार जो first letter जोटा को नहीं कि गोटे short term आमे coin करचे post corp, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting and budgeting. So first one is your planning. So planning is an important process of management. केमती planning गोटे important process of management. Now you are using the organization for achievement of the goals set for the organization. So when you are going to get the work done, by get the targets fulfilled by the organization, you have to plan your activities properly. So planning is more or less future oriented. Like when we plan, we think of the future. And actually जो planning हम block 1 पाखरु हम देखुचे, planning माने कोन गोटे, we are trying to change our condition. We are not satisfied with the present condition. I'm present state of affairs, we are not satisfied. We find certain lacuna, we find certain defects, and we want to have the things changed for us. Then for that kind of cherished change, we are doing something. We are contemplating to do something. So that is planning. What we want to do. So it is the making the blueprint of action for the future to bring about the desired changes in future. That is your planning. So planning is future oriented. For future orientation, we cannot forget also the past. Because future, to get good result, we should also analyze our past. We should analyze also our present. And our present and past, they have their importance for achievement of the future targets. कारण प्रेजेंट आउ पास्ट को भूली करी आमे केवल फ्यूचर ऊपर कंसंट्रेट करि परिबानी, कारण आवर पास्ट एंड प्रेजेंट दे आर गोइंग टू डिफाइन आवर फ्यूचर. कारण प्रेजेंट रे देयर मे बी सर्टेन प्रॉब्लम्स, इन द पास्ट we might have committed certain errors, so we have to analyze them and we have to see where did we commit an error and how can we remove that, so that with that much of resources, with that much of effort, we can get the desired objective. Okay, so management is concerned with the first important aspect of management, process of management is planning, where both foresight and hindsight. Hindsight गोटे concept what एथिरे अछि बहिरे हम देखिबा. Hindsight रो अर्थ होउची गोटे something after an event has occurred, we learn something out of it. And beforehand we could not predict it, but once it has happened, we can understand more about it. So it is hindsight and there is foresight. So these is concerned with planning and it is an important process of management itself. Then organizing. What do we mean by organizing? So organizing is determining the activities needed. What are the different activities that we need for achievement of those objectives? And we have to identify the objectives. And once we identify the group of activities that are helpful for us for achievement of the goal of the organization, then we have to classify them into smaller groups, a smaller class of activities. So it is identification of activities, it is classification of activities that will help us to achieve our goal. So organizing is nothing but it is the task of identifying the activities. It is the task of classifying them into different manageable groups by set of activities, then assigning each activity to a particular group of people. And the organization we have different groups of people. Then जो different groups of people अछंती, आमे जो activities उटा को contemplate करूचे, these are the activities with which we can get the desired objectives. If we pursue these activities, our goals will be achieved. Then everybody cannot be assigned with the task of from A to Z जते activities कोले आमे गुटे particular individual को आमे तो को assign कर परिबेने. कारण in an organization we have different groups of people recruited for that purpose. ता purpose ता जो staffing कथा देखिबा सेठी recruitment रे कथा अछि. कारण हमर technical staff थिबे, official हमर थिबे, officers थिबे, तमरो managers थिबे, आबा हमर थिबे जो माने office assistants type of people थिबे, reporting etc. आबा हमर जो फाइनेंस अकाउंटिंग काम स्टाफ थिबे, तो डिफरेंट कैटेगोरीज ऑफ स्टाफ थिबे. डिफरेंट कैटेगोरीज भितर विद इन एन कैटेगोरी आल्सो वी हैव डिफरेंट पीपल थिबे, तांकर डिफरेंट कैपेसिटीज एंड डिफरेंट एबिलिटीज थिबे. all are not equally efficient, or not all are not equally proficient. We cannot also expect equal proficiency from all people within of a particular type. Suppose जो पर्टिकुलर गोटे टाइप रे हमरो 5 जन लोक कि 7 जन लोक गोटे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने काम करछंती, समस्त जे इक्वली एफिशिएंट हेबे सेमति किछि माने नै. तेणु हमको आइडेंटिफाई करिवार अछि who is the right person, and we have to delegate the responsibility of that particular task to that person only. आमे जदि सेटा को प्रॉपर्ली आइडेंटिफाई करि कि सेही लोकटा को तार रेस्पोंसिबिलिटी आमे असाइन करि परिबा, ताले it will be better it will be helpful for achievement of the organizational goal. So it is the task of the management, it is a process of management. So that is our organizing. Planning पर खाली planning हेले हबन, setting the goals, contemplating the blueprint of action खाली करदेले हबन. Next is आमे जो activities identify करले ताकू पुनी classify करिवा to manageable units, and we will assign each unit to a particular group of people who are comfortable or who are proficient in doing that type of work, so that our work will be done properly. Then staffing. Then organization is a group of people. The group of people हम केमते आसीबा, we have to recruit them. तेणु आमर जो different categories of people हमको identify करिवार अछि, हम को टाइप रो staff हमर दरकार. तेणु ता पई how we are going to get those people. तेणु we have to recruit people. तेणु right man in the right place. We have to put the main important function of management is in putting the right man in the right place. जदि आमे सेतिकी कर दे परिबा ताहले देखिबा organizational goal, it will be very much easier to achieve the organizational goal. तेणु हमको properly recruitment process through रे we have to recruit people. तेणु staffing is the next process, important process of management. Then we have to direct. Once तमर staff recruit हे गले, different groups of people आमे different task आमे बांटी दे परले, तापर काम होची direction. So who will do what? We have to assign आमे तम direct करबा जे you this group of people will perform this task, that group of people will perform that task. So in this way we have to give directions. So once we give directions, next we have to coordinate the activities. So different groups of people roile different activities they are going to perform. We have to coordinate the activities of all these people. आमे केमति coordinate करिवा ताको. So we will see that every group of people, by every person in that organization is working for the realization of that objective. Then we have the clear-cut objective in our mind, and we will evaluate the action of each and every individual in terms of that objective. So there is so we have to coordinate, because different groups of people, different organizations are there. We have somebody must be there who will have knowledge about the activities, who will have some knowledge about all these groups of people and the task assigned to them. And suppose आमे गोटे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से 5 ग्रुप्स ऑफ पीपल आमे करिचे, ग्रुप ए, ग्रुप बी, ग्रुप सी, ग्रुप डी and group E, and each group is assigned with a particular task. Group A may not be knowing what group B is doing. Group B may not be knowing what group C is doing. They are doing independently. They are performing their task independently. But somebody must be there to coordinate the activities of all these 5 groups of people. So when there is proper coordination among the activities of all these people, it will be easier to realize the organizational goals. You know, next important process of management is coordinating. Then reporting. Reporting what is the necessity of reporting? Now, sometimes it is required. It is required that we must report to the superiors at the top what we are doing, and recording what we are doing also. What is our achievement level, we have to record that. So reporting refers to information about the progress, what the organization, in what way the organization is progressing, you know, what exactly we are doing and what is our achievement. We have to make a elaborate report of that, and that report is sometimes transmitted to people at the higher level, so that they can verify, they can evaluate whether we are on the right track or not. So reporting is also important. It is not enough to do the things. It is also equally important to report what we are doing. So reporting by recording, that is also important. हमको record करिवार अछि what we are doing. Then budgeting. An organization cannot run without finances. So we have to arrange the necessary finances. We have to allocate the activities. We have to allocate the financial resources for different purposes. You know, budget is nothing but arranging the resources and allocating them among different activities. So आमे जो different activities हमरो perform करिवार अछि, हमको केमिति सेतिरे allocate करिवार अछि, हम केमिति को head रे केते खर्च करिवार अछि. So that is concerned with budgeting. So who will do this budgeting task? This budgeting will be done by the management. You know, budgeting is also another important process of management. Then controlling. We have to control the activities. Controlling means, suppose we have certain objectives. Because I am जानू जो organization is there for fulfillment of an objective. यदि गोटे organization सम्मुखरे कोनोसी objective ही नहीं, तेणु से organization ର existence ର meaning ही नहीं. An organization is in existence because certain objectives are there, and we want to realize those objectives by using those organizations, by using that organization. So when the activities of the organization deviate from the realization of the objective, we say that we are far away from realization of the goals. हम कारण आमे जो ऑब्जेक्टिव टा हम आखिया करे रखी छे, जो ऑब्जेक्टिव टा को आमे लक्ष्य स्थिर करछे, से लक्ष्य टा को पूर्ण करिया पय आमे गोटे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टा को यूज करूछे. यदि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नो एक्टिविटी टा से ऑब्जेक्टिव ठारू दूर को जाउची, ताले से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थ्रो रे हमर ऑब्जेक्टिव केबे भी रियलाइजेशन हेई परि, आमे रियलाइज करि परिबेनी केबे भी. तेनो ताको रियलाइज करिया पय हेले ऑब्जेक्टिव टा को हमको सब प्रॉपर्ली मॉनिटरिंग दरकार, प्रॉपर्ली हमको इवैल्यूएट करिवार अछि कि हमर एक्टिविटीज गुडाक सही गोल ओरिएंटेड कि नाही. तेणु व्हेन एवर देयर इज एनी डेविएशन वी हैव टू रेक्टिफाई. सो इट इज द टास्क ऑफ कंट्रोलिंग. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ कंट्रोलिंग. तेणु कंट्रोलिंग माने हमको सब इवैल्यूएट करिवार अछि जे एक्टिविटीज ता से गोल आडू को हमको नउची कि गोल ठु हमको दूरे नउची, दूर को नै जाउची. यदि गोल आडू को हमको नउची ताले ठीक अछि, यदि गोल ठु हमको दूरे नउची ताले हमको सेठी रेक्टिफिकेशन स्टेप हमर दरकार. वी हैव टू रेक्टिफाई. सो दैट इज कंट्रोलिंग, एंड these are the different processes of management. Am I clear to all of you? Can I
Yes,
have
sir.
some response? Can I have some responses from you?
Yes, sir.
If anybody is interested, you come on. Anybody interested to communicate anything, please come on and compliment or supplement. Do you want to add something? Jagdish,
Yes, sir.
do you want to add something?
Sir.
Now, am I clear to you? ମୁଁ ଯାହା କହିଲି କ୍ଲିୟରଲି ବୁଝି ହେଉଛି କି ନାହିଁ?
हाँ सर ठीक है सर बुझो सर
ବୁଝି ହେଉଛି ତ? ସୋ ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଆମେ ଏଥିରୁ ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟ କରିପାରିବା. What are the different processes of management? ତେଣୁ ଆମେ ଏପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଯୋଉ କନସେପ୍ଟ ପଢିଲେ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟର ମିନିଂ ଆସିପାରେ, ବା ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ବିଟୱିନ୍ ଆଡମିନିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ ଆଣ୍ଡ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ପାଇଁ ଆମେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟ କରିପାରିବା. बा
sir.
नेक्स्ट टाइम जो डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस ऑफ मैनेजमेंट देखिले 7 स्टेप्स गुडाक सेगुडाक भी हम गोटे लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट करबा सपोज व्हाट इज मैनेजमेंट व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस ऑफ मैनेजमेंट एमती भी हम क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट कर परिबे
Yes, sir. Thank you.
हेलो
ठीक अछि हां यस
सर मोर गोटे क्वेश्चन थिला
हां को
सर कौन बोले मैनेजमेंट इज द डिफरेंस गोल्स रूल्स द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अटेम्प्ट टू द अचीव देन हेले मैनेजमेंट रे हमें डिफरेंट गोल को एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन रे सेटा केमति करबे से वर्डिंग ना बुझिनो सर
will you please repeat the question
sir management is the different goals so will the administration attempts to the achieve then
नहीं
suppose
administration doesn't attempt to achieve the goal
hmm
administration fixes the goal
hmm
administration is concerned with decision making policy making and management is responsible for realization of the goals
hmm
are you clear or do you have any more doubt still you have some doubt
one doubt, sir. Management apply on the commercial undertaking. You know, management of sir, I'm a commercial
no management that is conceptual error management
Hmm.
is not only concerned with industrial units management is a universal process it can be there everywhere without even in our household we need management ଆମ ଘରେ ବି ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଦରକାର ଆମେ ଯଦି ଯୋଉ ଆମର ଘରର ଫ୍ୟାମିଲିର ରିସୋର୍ସେସ୍ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲିଟାକୁ ରିସୋର୍ସେସ୍ ଯାକୁ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରପରଲି ଆମେ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ ନ କରିବା ପ୍ରପରଲି ୟୁଜ୍ ନ କରିବା ପ୍ରପରଲି ଆଲୋକେଟ୍ ନ କରିବା ତାହେଲେ ବି ଆମେ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ବି ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଇଯିବ ତେଣୁ ମ୍ୟାନେଜ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଭୁଲ କନସେପ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ଯେ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟଟା କେବଳ ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲ ୟୁନିଟରେ ହିଁ ଅଛି maybe we do not have qualified MBA people to manage our household we manage it for ourselves but management is an art
Thanks.
management everywhere required in this context I invite any one of you to participate in the discussion एपर्यंत आमे किछि जन को सुनिने बिल्कुल let us invite some of them Shubhasri
Sir,
would you like to supplement something what is your comment जहाँ मैं एपर्यंत पढ़ी ता ऊपर कौन सब बुझी होची कौन प्रॉब्लम रहउची कोठी
no sir, बुझियोछि
बुझी होची ए जो मैनेजमेंट रो क्वेश्चन आसेला यूनिवर्सल प्रोसेस या ऊपर कौन कहबार अछि सबुटी मैनेजमेंट अछि कि नहीं
yes sir,
हमर फैमिली पाखरो आरंभ करी कि गवर्नमेंट पर्यंत
oh yes sir,
offices everywhere the concept of management is necessary নহলে আমি why do we study management in the context of rural development and rural development is not only development of industries it is development of rural areas life of people in rural areas कारण सेठी मैनेजमेंट केमिति आवश्यक कारण मैनेजमेंट होची when you have a group of people to work when you have an organization to work when you have clearly spelled out objectives before you to achieve the goal within the stipulated period of time by utilizing the resources more effectively to effective management of resources mane kon the efficient utilization of resources these resources may be your money may be your material may be 3M कहते ना management is a concept of efficient utilization of 3M man material and money
money sir,
money ତେଣୁ man effective utilization of man effective utilization of material at our disposal effective utilization of money at our disposal so we have to know how to use them in a more effective manner, so that more efficiently we can use them, more effectively we can use them for realization of the goals within the stipulated period of time. And I बहुत समय देखुचे good planning is there, but due to bad management we fail to get the we fail to realize the objective in time. नहीं कि good planning थिबो, किंतु due to bad management आमे goal achieve करिया पई सक्षम भी न होई पारू. बुझियला. So आमर माइंड भितर जदि गोटे कॉन्सेप्ट अछि जे मैनेजमेंट इज ओनली कंसर्न्ड विथ इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिट्स, now it is high time we should revise our notion, we should revise our concept. And management is a universal process. That's why we are discussing it in the context of rural development. Next hoji jo planning about management concept re ase, we have to understand the setting where we are working. Suppose ame gote rural development ro kotha asuchi, we are managing कारण आमे जो programs as a plan is broken down into programs and programs. कारण आमे काली भी मु कहउथली previous class रे, but a plan, when we plan something, that is implemented in the form of programs and projects. And a plan is broken down into programs and programs are broken down into projects for effective implementation. When we are going to implement something, we have to understand the setting in which we are going to implement. And आमे जदि गोटे setting टाको properly आमे बुझी नथिबा, ताहले हमर implementation पई we will face problems. नहीं कि तेणु को setting रे हमर काम करूचे आमे. Suppose in the context of rural development, गोटे particular कारण rural area कहला माने it is a generic term. कारण ता भितरे पुणी आम काली जिमिति कहउथले, so we have inter differences and intra differences within the same unit. Suppose gote state भितरे we have different districts. These districts are not homogeneous groups, they have their differences among themselves, and within a district also there are differences among the constituent units. Maybe different blocks, they have their peculiarities. One block is different from another block. Within a block itself, suppose we have different panchayats, among the different panchayats, there may be certain differences. One panchayat is different from another panchayat. So, where we are going to implement the project, we have to understand that setting. Se setting ta ko ame jodi properly bujhuche, tahale e jo implementation will be successful. We will be able to achieve our goal. तेणु सेटिंग रे कौन बुझिबार अछि ना, people, area and activities. We have to understand the people for whom we are working. We have to understand the area where we are working, and we have to understand the activities that we are performing. तेणु आमे को activities perform करछे, that we have to understand properly. We have a thorough knowledge of that activity, and we have to understand the constitution of the society. What are the different groups of people that make the society? We have to understand their cultural background, their economic and social standard. We have to understand. We should have a thorough knowledge. And when we don't have a thorough knowledge, we can't work with them or we cannot work for them. So when we are working with people and when we are working for people, we have to understand. As properly we don't have adequate knowledge about them, we cannot work for them, we cannot work with them. So management is working for people and working with people. Then we have to understand. Beneficiary jo mane participatory approach, the beneficiaries for whom we are working, they must also be a part of the decision making and implementation process. The democratic approach of planning hame कहउतले village level le, suppose we are working for rural development, so rural people should form a part of the decision making process. So jo targeted beneficiary groups, they must also form a part. Then we should have a thorough knowledge about them. Then we have the implementation of rural development project. जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन भितर यही कथा जो आम डिस्कसन करथिले आसीबो से कथा प्लान इज ब्रोकन डाउन इनटू प्रोजेक्ट्स programs, then programs are broken down into projects. So we have to dividing the activities into manageable units for proper implementation. And in the implementation phase, so in a project we have two different phases. One is your pre-implementation phase and one is operation phase. Pre-implementation phase रे कौन हुए आम जो feasibility report आम गोटे project हाथ को नहीं चे से project whether it is possible or not in that area. कारण सबू एक्टिविटीज सबू जगह पॉसिबल नुहे सबू सेटिंग ऑल द सेटिंग्स ईच एंड एवरी सेटिंग इज नॉट फ्रेंडली बा हेल्पफुल फॉर प्रॉपर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ ए प्रोजेक्ट तेणु प्रोजेक्ट रो जेमती पिकुलियरिटीज अछि बा एक्टिविटीज रो जेमती पिकुलियरिटीज अछि तुमर रूरल सेटिंग रे भी पिकुलियरिटीज अछि सपोज बलांगीर एरिया रो गोटे विलेज जो टाइप रो एक्टिविटीज द्वारा हमें डेवलपमेंट को हमें आगो को नहीं जाई परिबा बा वी कैन अचीव डेवलपमेंट से सेम एक्टिविटीज गोटे कटक डिस्ट्रिक्ट रो गोटे विलेज रे परफॉर्म करी के हुए तो हमें अचीवमेंट लेवल सेही लेवल ले हमें पहुंची परिबानी कारण एवरी विलेज हैज इट्स ओन पिकुलियरिटी गोटे रूरल साइट रे समस्तकर निजर निजत्व अछि पिकुलियरिटी अछि तार ओन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स अछि तेणु आमे सेटा को प्रॉपर्ली बुझी गिरी देखिया को पड़िबो जे आमे जो प्रोजेक्ट आमे हाथ को नैचे से प्रोजेक्ट से एरिया रे पॉसिबल कि नाही सेटा होची फिजिबिलिटी वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इवैल्यूएट करिवार अछि तेणु हमको फिजिबिलिटी रिपोर्ट देखिबा सेटा होची ई सब होची प्री इंप्लीमेंटेशन फेज रो कथा तापरे जतले हमें देखले जे हां ए प्रोजेक्ट इज फिजिबल वी हैव टू अरेंज द नेसेसरी फाइनेंसेस फॉर दैट तेणु फाइनेंशियल अरेंजमेंट सहित प्री इंप्लीमेंटेशन फेज सरला तापरे हमको जो ऑपरेशन फेज हमको प्रोजेक्ट एक्चुअली ऑपरेशन करिवार अछि तापरे तेणु प्रोजेक्ट जो हमर इंप्लीमेंटेशन फेज रे बा ऑपरेशन फेज रे सबटू इंपोर्टेंट होची हमको ध्यान दबार अछि बा वी हैव टू एम्फसाइज ऑन टाइमली कंप्लीशन ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट हमको धर 5 ईयर रो प्रोजेक्ट वी शुड ट्राई टू फिनिश इट विद इन दैट स्टिपुलेटेड पीरियड ऑफ 5 इयर्स कारण जदि सेटा प्रोजेक्ट डिले हो जाउची सपोज 5 year project it takes 10 to 15 years ताले that project may not give us the result at all कारण 5 year भितरे इकोनॉमिक बा सोशल कंडीशन सही जगह रे जहा थिला 10 years 15 years ऊपर से कंडीशन हुए तो नथिबो तार विथ चेंज इन टाइम ता रिक्वायरमेंट चेंज हो जाइथिबो ताकर नीड चेंज हो जाइथिबो ताकर सोशल सेटिंग चेंज हो जाइथिबो तेणु सेतबेल को से प्रोजेक्ट may not be so beneficial to them बुझिला तेणु ये सब जिनस गुड़ा देखा तापर एथर गोटे आसवे क्वेश्चन भी आसी पारे जो फैक्टर्स एफेक्टिंग इम्प्लीमेंटेशन आम जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन को फैक्टर गुड़ाक आमको इन्फ्लुएंस करे इम्प्लीमेंटेशन एफेक्ट करे गोटे आमर हूँ टेक्निकल फैक्टर भितर जो टेक्नोलोजी रो कथा आसुची जो एक्टिविटीज रो टेक्नोलोजी इज नथिंग बट द नो हाउ टू डू दैट थिंग तेणु आम इकोनॉमिक्स गोटे टेक्नोलोजी को डिफाइन करूँ इट इज द कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ इनपुट्स को टाइप रो इनपुट आम यूज करुचे एंड हाउ मच ऑफ ईच इनपुट इज टू बी यूज्ड द नॉलेज ऑफ दैट इज योर टेक्निक ए टेक्निक ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इज नथिंग बट ए कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ डिफरेंट इनपुट्स that are going to be utilized in the process of production. You know, that is economic aspect. किंतु आम जो गोटे एठी रूरल डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट रो कथा कहूचे सपोज गोटे एक्टिविटी दैट नीड्स ए पर्टिकुलर टेक्निकल नो हाउ दैट पर्टिकुलर स्किल दरकार पड़ुचे तेणु दैट इज योर टेक्निकल फैक्टर जदि वी हैव एनफ people with we have enough knowledge of the activity and we have a good number of people who are skilled enough to perform that activity then the project will be implemented properly there is no doubt then economic and financial factor जो finance रो कथा हमें कहूचे so we need finance for that activity so whether we have that finance adequate amount of finance available with us for that purpose or not यदि inadequate amount of finance is there that may be a handicap for completion of the project in time तेणु financial factor also affects project completion then commercial कमर्शियल फैक्टर माने आम जो गोटे इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज हाथ को नौचे गोटे एक्टिविटीज नहींचे सपोज डायरी आम गोटे जगह लोक मान को वी वांट टू डेवलप द पीपल वी वांट टू गिव देम सप्लीमेंटरी इनकम थ्रू डायरी गो पालन द्वारा आम तांकर आम किसी दुग्ध चाषी डायरी फार्मिंग आम डेवलप करने चाहूचे तेणु सपोज तांकर जो प्रोडक्ट टाक मिल्क बा मिल्क प्रोडक्ट जोड़ाक रोचे ताको हाउ दे विल बी एबल टू मार्केट देम कारण जब प्रॉपर्ली मार्केटिंग न हो पारा ताले से प्रोजेक्ट विल नॉट बी दैट प्रोजेक्ट विल नॉट गिव अस द डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट तेणु जो कमर्शियल फैक्टर दैट इज आल्सो इंपोर्टेंट फैक्टर देन सोशियो कल्चरल फैक्टर जोटा कहते रूरल सेटिंग आमर तांकर सोशल स्टेटस तांकर कल्चर आमको वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड देम दैट पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी should not be in conflict with the social setting in which the people are से लोक जो लोक मानकर बेनिफिट पे हम काम करिया चाहूचे जो माने हमर टार्गेटेड बेनिफिशियरी ग्रुप से माने जो सोशल सेटिंग रे अछंती हमर ए जो इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी टा तांकर सोसाइटी तांकर कल्चर तांकर कल्चरल इथोस को कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करवा उचित नुहे दैट शुड नॉट बी they should not they both should not be in conflicting situation कारण तांकर सही अनुसार सेटिंग टा जदी मैच करूची ताले they will get the benefit then different political factors are there then institutional organizational and managerial factors are there then we need people's participation जोटा कि popular participation जहाँ ऊपर कि आजकल आमे बहुत गुरुत्व दोचे then integration and coordination of economic activities तेणु ये जो different एटा भी गोटा आमे long question थ्रू एक्सपेक्ट करि परिबा जे what are the different factors affecting implementation of a project then what are the causes of delays in implementation गोटे implementation ने delay काहे कि हुए ସେଥିରେ just ମୁଁ point ଗୁଡାକ discussion without going into details I am just pointing out the different factors there are some internal factors and there are some external factors also the internal factors भितर जोड़ाक आसुची सेटा inadequate planning कारण गोटे प्रोजेक्ट ता सक्सेसफुल कंप्लीशन पई we need adequate planning यदि बिफोर हम प्लानिंग प्रॉपर्ली हेनी ताले गोटे लेटर स्टेज रे we may find it difficult to complete the project then inadequate planning ପାଇଁ भी problem ହେଇ पारे delay ହେଇ पारे inadequate financing जो कथा हम कहथले adequate finance न होले भी project ता timely completion नहीं परिबनी तार then choosing the wrong technology कारण every activity ପାଇଁ we have an appropriate technology for accomplishing that task तेणु जदि आमे we use a wrong technology we may not be able to complete the task then lack of coordination come organization is there different groups of people are there working for the organization working in the organization then there must be proper coordination among the activities of these different groups of people if the proper coordination is not there ताले हुए तो organizational goal हेई परिबनी बा प्रोजेक्ट ता implementation पई there may be delay then absence of delegation of power कारण हम सो मैनेजमेंट रो गोटा कथा जोटा कहउतले जे हमको ग्रुप ऑफ एक्टिविटीज हमरे को डिफरेंट मैनेजेबल ग्रुप रे डिवाइड करिवार अछि एंड ईच ग्रुप असाइन टू सम पीपल सेउडा के जदी असाइन हमें न करि पड़छे प्रॉपर्ली ताहले इट विल बी वेरी मच डिफिकल्ट ऑन आवर पार्ट to get the objectives fulfilled or to get the project may be delayed then lack of reasonable norms of accountability then poor industrial relation wrong selection of agents non involvement of people कारण popular involvement are कारण वर्तमान जो democratic approach to development रो कथा आसुची development is of the people for the people by the people I should decide what kind of development I need development is not something imposed on me somebody outside somebody not related to me but somebody else should not decide that this is development for you I should have my own say I should be able to have my own opinion that this is the thing I want if these things are achieved I will be developed so who will take the decision It is for me. So when development is for me, I am a deprived section. I belong to a deprived section, and you are trying to develop me. So when you are trying to develop me, you cannot just impose anything in the name of development on me. I should decide what kind of development I need. So that's why nowadays we are giving more emphasis on participation of the people in every stage. In decision making, in implementation, everywhere, there should be participation of the targeted beneficiary people, targeted beneficiaries. Then external factor may be input problem. And what we are going to use is input. To produce something, we need certain other things. So what we use are inputs, and what comes out as final product is our output. ତେଣୁ ଇନପୁଟ inadequate input supply ଥିଲେ project may be delayed. Suppose ଗୋଟେ economic activities ନଉଛେ, suppose rural industries କଥା ଆମେ ଚିନ୍ତା କରିବା, ସେ rural industry ଯଦି ଆମେ proper ତାର raw material ବା input, raw material ଗୋଟେ important input, ଯଦି ଆମେ ଇନପୁଟଟା ଠିକ ଟାଇମରେ ଆମେ ପାଇଲେନି, ଟାଇମଲି ସପ୍ଲାଇ ଅଫ ଇନପୁଟ ହେଇପାରିଲାନି, ତାହେଲେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ମେ ବି ଡିଲେ, ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ମେ ନଟ୍ produce the output in stipulated period of time. ଆମେ ଯେତିକି ଦିନ ଭିତରେ ସେଟା ଅପରେସନାଲ ହେଇଯିବ ବୋଲି ଭାବୁଥିବା, ସେତିକି ଦିନ ଭିତରେ ସେଟା ହୁଏତ ଅପରେସନାଲ ନ ହେଇପାରେ। ତେଣୁ ଆଉ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସପୋର୍ଟେସନ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ, ଆମେ ଏଷ୍ଟରଡେ ଦେଖିଥିଲେ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସପୋର୍ଟେସନ କେମିତି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ, ର ମେଟେରିଆଲ ପାଇଁ, ଫିନିଶ୍ଡ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟକୁ ମାର୍କେଟ ପ୍ଲେସରେ ପହଞ୍ଚାଇବା ପାଇଁ କେମିତି ଆମର ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସପୋର୍ଟେସନ ଇଜ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ, ଏଇଗୁଡାକ ସବୁ ଆମେ ଦେଖିଥିଲେ। ଆଉ ତାପରେ ପବ୍ଲିକ କୋଅପରେସନ, ସବୁଠୁ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ହଉଛି ପବ୍ଲିକ କୋଅପରେସନ। ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ। ଯଦି ଆମେ we don't get public cooperation, people are not convinced enough that it is for us, the project is for us, and they don't cooperate with us, so the project may not be successful at all. ତେଣୁ from the very beginning it is important for us, the managers of rural development project ପାଇଁ, it is very much important for us to get people involved from the very beginning itself. Then with this, some of the basic concepts are over. We had seen today the meaning of management, different processes of management, then different aspects, dimensions, different other things. The project delay, what are the factors responsible for that? Then we discussed about the factors affecting implementation of the project. So all these things we have discussed, whether maybe due to inadequacy of time, some point ଆମେ properly ହୁଏତ ତାକୁ touch କରିପାରି ନଥିବା, ହୁଏତ କିଛି doubts ବି କାହା ଭିତରେ ଥାଇପାରେ। ଯଦି କାହାର କିଛି doubts ଅଛି, you may raise your doubts. ଯଦି କାହାର କିଛି doubt ଅଛି, you can ask, or if you do not want to ask, but ଆଜି ଯୋଉ discussion କଲେ, whatever overall impression you get, ଯଦି କିଏ sum up କରିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବେ ବା କିଛି ଏଥିରେ add କରିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବେ, that is also welcome. କିଏ respond କରିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବେ? Anybody interested to respond? Tejaswini?
Sir, according to
Yes, continue. Yes, please.
Sir, according to me, sir, in narrating today's class, mostly we know about managerial roles, as well as what is the importance of manager roles in rural development, as well as knowing the differences between administrative roles and management roles. Then we discuss various aspects of the 4-7 characteristics of management, and knowing the varieties of management is art or management is a science. According to me, it's a very good session. Thank you, sir, for
So
your
did you
valuable
enjoy it?
information. Yes, sir.
You enjoyed me. Thank you. Acha, any doubt?
Till now, no, sir.
Acha, anybody else? हम समस्त टिके पार्टिसिपेट कले discussion will be very much interesting. Don't try to be silent listeners only.
Sir,
And
uh,
yes,
sir, sir, while writing the answers, can we improvise by adding the current events, examples from the current events?
definitely.
Sir, like example, we can add here about the factors that affecting the implementation. We can also write the psychological factors. Like recently, we can talk about the fake beneficiaries. Uh,
Now, if we have experience
yes,
and we are convinced enough, and that is logical also.
sir.
କାରଣ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ରିଜିନଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦଉଛେ that must be logical, that must be convincing. We must be able to convince others. And what I feel important, I should be able to convince others that this is important.
Yes,
କାରଣ
sir.
ମୁଁ ଏକୁଟିଆ ଭାବୁଛି ଯେ this is important factor, but I am unable to convince others that it is important. In that case, there may be problem. ତେଣୁ actually ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ answer ଲେଖୁଛେ, ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ବ୍ଲକ ଗୁଡାକରେ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷ ଦଉଛି, ଯୋଉ ମ୍ୟାଟେରିଆଲ ଦଉଛି, that is the center. ତାକୁ ଆମେ ସେଣ୍ଟର, ତାକୁ keeping it in center, that main ଆମେ ତାକୁ element ରଖିକି answersଟା ତ ଆମର one way ରେ ଲେଖିବା, what we have understood. ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ବ୍ଲକରେ ଯୋଉ ୱାର୍ଡ ଗୁଡାକ ବା ଯାହା ଯେମିତି ଦେଇଛି exactly ଆମେ reproduction କରିବାଟା that is not good answer କେତେବେଳେ ଆସିବ, what we have understood ଆମେ ତାକୁ when we will express it in our own words, one way. ତା ସହିତ ଯଦି କରେଣ୍ଟ ଆଫେୟାର୍ସ କିଛି ଆମେ ଚାହୁଁଛେ ବା ଆମେ କିଛି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯୋଉ ରିସେଣ୍ଟ ଆର୍ଟିକଲ୍ସ ମ୍ୟାଗାଜିନ୍ସରେ ଆସୁଛି ବା ଅଦର ବୁକ୍ସରେ କିଛି ଆସୁଛି, ତାକୁ ଯଦି ଆମେ ଆଡ୍ କରିପାରିବା ତାହେଲେ ଡେଫିନେଟଲି ବେଟର ହବ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଡ୍ କରିବା ମାନେ ନୁହେଁ ଯେ ମୋର ମନକୁ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ ଫିଲ୍ କଲି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେଟା ଅଦର୍ସକୁ କନଭିନ୍ସିଂ ହଉନି, ସେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଆଡ୍ କରିଦେବାଟା ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଠିକ ହବନି। ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ ମାଇ ପର୍ସନାଲ ଓପିନିଅନ ଅଫ କୋର୍ସ, ବଟ୍ as a teacher I would suggest that from other reference materials, कारण ଏଇ ବୁକ୍ ପଛରେ ବି ଗୋଟେ ରେଫରେନ୍ସ ମ୍ୟାଟେରିଆଲର ନେମ୍ ବି ଦିଆ ହେଇଛି, ଯେମିତି କି ସପୋଜ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ସଜେଷ୍ଟେଡ ରିଡିଂସରେ ଆସୁଛି, ଏଠି 6ଟା 7ଟା ଖଣ୍ଡେ ସଜେଷ୍ଟେଡ ରିଡିଂ ବହି ଦେଇଛି। ଧର ସପୋଜ ଏଠି 2ଟା ଦେଇଛି, କୋଉ ଚାପ୍ଟର ପଛରେ 5ଟା 6ଟା ସଜେଷ୍ଟେଡ ରିଡିଂ ବି ବହିର ନାଁ ଅଛି ବା ଗୋଟେ ଜର୍ନାଲର ନାଁ ବି ଥାଇପାରେ। ଯଦି ସେଥିରୁ ଆମେ କିଛି ଆଡିସନାଲ ମ୍ୟାଟେରିଆଲ ଆମେ ପାଉଛେ, we can add. ତେଣୁ ଗୋଟେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସାଲ ହବା ଦରକାର, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ମଷ୍ଟ ବି ଅଥେଣ୍ଟିକ। ଗୋଟେ ଅଥେଣ୍ଟିକ ସୋର୍ସରୁ ଆମେ ଯଦି ମ୍ୟାଟେରିଆଲ ଆଣିକିରି ଆଡ୍ କରୁଛେ ସେଇଟା ଲେଖିଲେ ଠିକ ହବ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ନିଜେ ମୁଁ ଫିଲ୍ କରୁଛି ଏଇଟା ହବ ବୋଲି, କିନ୍ତୁ ଯଦି ଫିଲ୍ କରୁଛି ଠିକ ଅଛି, କିନ୍ତୁ ୱିଥ୍ ଆଡିକ୍ୱେଟ୍ ଲଜିକ ମତେ କନଭିନ୍ସ କରିବାର ଅଛି ଯେ ହଁ ଏଇଟା ଠିକ ବୋଲି ହେଲା। ତେଣୁ ବେଟର ହବ, ମୁଁ ଆଡଭାଇସ୍ କରିବି ଏ ବ୍ଲକରେ ଯାହା ଅଛି ତା ସହିତ ଯୋଉ ସଜେଷ୍ଟେଡ ରିଡିଂ ମ୍ୟାଟେରିଆଲସ ଲାଷ୍ଟକୁ ଦେଇଛି, ଲିଷ୍ଟ ଅଫ ସଜେଷ୍ଟେଡ ରିଡିଂସ, ସେଇଟାକୁ ଫଲୋ କରିକି ଯଦି କିଛି ଆଡ୍ କରିପାରିବା ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ବେଟର।
Again, sir. Thank you.
ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଏନି ଅଦର ଥିଙ୍ଗ?
ଗୋଟେ query ଅଛି sir.
ସାର୍ yes continue.
Actually କହୁଥିଲି sir, MRD-101, 102 ରେ ଯୋଉଟା ବି factual data ଦେଇଛି, ଯେମିତି ସେନ୍ସସ୍ ହେଲା,
ସେଟା ଆଉଟଡେଟେଡ ଥିବ।
ହଁ sir,
So that I feel, କାରଣ ଏ ବ୍ଲକଟା ହଁ
ଦେବା ଯୋଉଟା ଦିଆ ହେଇଛି ବହିରେ ସେଇଟା ହିଁ ଦେବା ଆମେ। ଯେମିତି sir
ନା
ସେନ୍ସସ୍
ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଟିକେ ତମର
ଆମର
ନେଟୱାର୍କ
latest
କନେକ୍ଟିଭିଟି ରହୁଛି, ମତେ ଭଲ କି ଶୁଭୁନି। ଆଉ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ୟୁ ରିପିଟ୍ ଇଟ୍?
ଥିଲା ଯେ ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ MRD-101, 102 ର ମୁଁ ଦେଖୁଥିଲି ମେଟେରିଆଲଟା sir, ସେଥିରେ ଯାହା ବି ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଚୁଆଲ ଅଛି ପ୍ରାୟ ବହୁତ ଆଉଟଡେଟେଡ ଅଛି। ଯେମିତି ସେନ୍ସସ୍
ହଁ, ପୁରୁଣା ଡାଟା
2003,
ଗୁଡାକ ଅଛି।
ହଁ 90,
ସେ ପୁରୁଣା
ତ ଆମେ
ସେନ୍ସସର ଡାଟା ଗୁଡାକ ଅଛି। ନା ଏଗୁଡାକ ଲାଟେଷ୍ଟ ଡାଟା ଦେଲେ ଭଲ ହବ। ଆଚ୍ଛା, ମୋ କଥା ଭଲ କି ଶୁଭୁଛି କି ନାହିଁ ସିଦ୍ଧାର୍ଥ?
ଶୁଭୁଛି sir?
ସିଦ୍ଧାର୍ଥ,
हाँ सर
मते तम कथा सुनिया पाए टिके प्रॉब्लम होची तमे मो कथा सुनी पड़छो कि नहीं मो
ଶୁଭୁଛି
कथा
ସାର୍
शुणी शुभुची तो ठीक अच्छे मु बुझिली तुम कौन कहू चाहूँ मु बुझिली ये जो हमरो मटेरियल ब्लॉक्स गुड़ाक जो डाटा अच्छी सेटा पुराना सेंसस रो डाटा ठीक अच्छे आमे एथरो पॉइंट गुड़ाक नेले जो डाटा पार्टटा आम जोटाक रेफरेंस मटेरियल्स रोचे बा आम जो लाटेस्ट इकोनॉमिक सर्वे बा हमर जो सेंसस रिपोर्ट्स रो डाटा गुड़ाक अवेलेबल अच्छी अदर बुक्स रे सपोज गोटे इंडियन इकोनॉमिक्स बुक्स रे हमें लाटेस्ट डाटा किछि पाइबा कि हमर सेंसस रिपोर्ट रो हमें लाटेस्ट डाटा पाइबा वी शुड ऐड देम ताको ऐड करी हबो दैट विल बी बेटर
ठीक ଅଛି सर थैंक यू सर थैंक यू
इट्स ऑल राइट एनीवन एल्स आउ के किछि पार्टिसिपेट करिवे नि डिस्कशन ने अच्छा so should we conclude now if anybody else is not interested to participate in discussion or add something can we conclude now
ଜିନିଷ ସାର୍ ଆମେ ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଆମକୁ ସବମିଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କିଛି ଇଗ୍ନୋ ମାନେ ଆସିବ ନା ଆମେ ଏନି ଟାଇମ କରି ପାରିବା
एक्चुअली जो असाइनमेंट पार्टटा तुम सेटा तो वेबसाइट रे थाए ना तुम वेबसाइट रे लोड हुए बोधे असाइनमेंट गुड़ाक असाइनमेंट वेबसाइट रे दउनी कि आजकल
ଦଉଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ମାନେ ଯୋଉ ଡେଡଲାଇନ ଟା କେବେଠୁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରିବାର ଅଛି ସେଟା ମାନେ ଆମେ କେମିତି ଜାଣିବୁ
सेटा इग्नो वेबसाइट रो बा आपण जो स्टडी सेंटर ताको सहित कांटेक्ट कले जना पड़ियो I am a counselor for this paper. I have been assigned for discussion of the ये जो पार्ट गुड़ाक से गुड़ाक आम जो लोकल स्टडी सेंटर जो स्टडी सेंटर रे आम एनरोल करिचे बा रीजनल हमर स्टडी सेंटर जोटा अछि आम ताको सहित कांटेक्ट कले बा हमर इग्नोर वेबसाइट रे देखिले भी जना पड़िबा आज काली जो इग्नो वेबसाइट रे भी सब इंफॉर्मेशन गुड़ाक अवेलेबल जदि इग्नो वेबसाइट रे किछि नाही ए डाटा ताले आमे से स्टडी सेंटर सहित जोगाजोग करले भी आमे जानि परिबा
हेलो
यस यस हाँ
जून सेशन रो 30 मार्च लास्ट डेट और डिसेंबर सेशन रो सितंबर 30 एटा फिक्स्ड इग्नोर असाइनमेंट सबमिशन लास्ट डेट
अच्छा अच्छा थैंक यू फॉर योर यूजफुल इंफॉर्मेशन अच्छा बाकी समस्ते सुनी पारले कि नहीं से जहाँ कहले संज्ञा साहू जहाँ कहले सुनी पारले तो
यस सर
अच्छा कारण एक्चुअली मु ए
सर आ गोटे जिंस कंफ्यूज रहंती समस्ते जनवरी रे जो असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन टा आसे सेटा बोथ जून एंड डिसेंबर सेशन रो पिलांक पई किंतु बहुत पिला भाबंते तांकर डिसेंबर अलगा क्वेश्चन आसीबो किंतु सेटा सेही गोटे क्वेश्चन थाए तो जनवरी रे जो क्वेश्चन टा बाहरे सेटा से माने सितंबर पई भी लिखि पारिबे
अच्छा थैंक यू जनवरी रे जो क्वेश्चन बाहरिबो सेटा सितंबर पई भी लिखि हबो वेबसाइट रे आसे and that is fixed so Sangya provided very useful information I hope others will definitely be benefited by this information thank you Sangya
वेलकम सर
thank you can we conclude now
थैंक यू
okay let me
Thank you,
conclude
sir.
then thank you again we will meet tomorrow thank you